Hi guys, it's Marina from Tech News here. What up? I haven't been publishing any new videos since December last year, as I got a new job in data analytics and automations kind of stuff, so I honestly have not been practicing any web development since then. But today we're gonna try and remember together how it is to do CRUD operations on MERN stack. So without further ado, subscribe to my channel and let's go. I am without my microphone today, so I hope the sound is still okay. In this video we're gonna do this very ugly, if I can call it, application, but it can do all the CRUD operations in MERN stack, so what the hell. In this application we will be able to add the items, like a new item, okay? I'm not very very creative today, so okay, item added, logged, and now we can also delete it and we can update it. So here you just write the new title and the new description, update it, and I'm also I'm showing you my console, because I started to receive so many complaints that my videos result in some errors. So in this video we're gonna do everything correctly with error handling and all that stuff. Okay, so let's open up our VS Code and go to the terminal. I will cd into the desktop and sorry, I thought I'm not recording. And we will create a new directory called CRUD MERN app. Okay, shit. Okay, so this time I'm gonna do our structuring of the folder a bit differently. So let's open up the terminal. I'm gonna be working from the VS Code cd into desktop, and instead of creating the separate front end and back end, I will just create a React app, and we call it CRUD MERN app. Okay, so now we can cd into the new folder, CRUD MERN app, where our React application is located. The reason I do like this is because I encountered some issues when I was trying to push it to GitHub. Anyway, in this folder we are going to create our server.js file and also install some packages, like, let me do it with yarn because it's my default one. Yarn add express, mongoose, cores, and we will install axios. If you're with npm, you just think you know how to do that. It's like npm install. And now I don't know why it's taking so long. I think it will take about two minutes. Oi, it's done. Okay, less than 2 minutes. Now let's open up our folder in VS Code. Cool. Okay, so first of all, I would like to configure the server. As usual, express equal replier express. Then we have app equal express. Then we installed cores. Mongoose. And let's do port. Do it on 3001. So now here we'll connect to Mongodb. Then we will have our data schema. Then we will do the data model. Here we'll have the read route. Then we'll have the create route. After that we will do the delete route. And finally the update route. And here we will have app.listen at port and console log express is running. Okay,
Okay, so let's also deal with the proxy immediately. We go to the package.json file and we add our proxy. This is so React application can communicate with our server. Okay. What's up with my voice today? I think it's the air conditioner. Anyway, it will be http://http localhost 3001. Okay, so now let's check that our server is running. Node1 server.js. Okay, now we go also to the new tab and we can see if our React application is launching. Okay. Have you seen Attack on Titan? It's awesome manga. Recommend it. Okay. Everything looks fine. So now the last step is to create a database in MongoDB Atlas. I will just call it items db items. Okay, maybe I have already new items db and the collection will be items. Create. Now go to our clusters, connect up, copy this code and go back to our server. Let's connect to the database right away. mongoose.connect, it's quite simple, and then just paste in the URL. Here I will do, the database will be new items db, and here I also have to specify the password. Some people warn me that this is not such a safe practice to show you my password, but first I hope you will not abuse, and second, I think it's not a problem because you have to log in with a Google account first to MongoDB. So I don't know if it's working for you. If it does, I will just re-upload the video. So now we create our data schema. In this case, we are going to have items schema. Let's call it item schema. That will be just an object with a title that is a string and a description that is also a string. And we will have our data model right here. So the data model is const item with a capital I equal mongoose.model, and it will be referred to as item and use the item schema. Okay, cool. So the routes we will configure later. I would like now to move to the front end and to configure the interface to create this route. Okay, maybe it's better to first configure the read route. So when we post something from our React application, we can immediately see it. So let's do that. Read route. How can we do this? Okay. I haven't been practicing web development since January, so I forgot lots of things. But if I remember, it's app.get. Then okay, let's specify the /items. It means http localhost 3001/items. Here we have request callback function, and we will take the item collection and find all. After we find all, we take the found items and we send them as a JSON response. And then we should also catch any errors. Here we can send the status in JSON. Okay, so this time I told you I'm gonna do all the error handling in a proper way. Now we can go to our React application and just delete everything between this. Oops, what is this shortcut? It's nice. Oh, okay. So Here we'll just send the h1 now to see if our React is working. Okay, React is working. So let's start to configure the interface. The first one, I would like to see if we can read. No, the read, we don't have any items yet. Let's do create. So we will need input for title. So name is title, and the value will be the value we'll provide later. Let's have a placeholder, and we have another input that will be a description. Okay, so we need to track what we input in these fields. In order to that, we have such a nice method that is called onChange, and here we will call a function that we will call handle change, and this function we will create shortly. Let's just provide this method also for the second input and create this function. But to create this function, we need also to create a state. And for the state, we import the use state hook from React. Okay, so let's create the state for our item. And the function will be setItem, use state. The initial state will be an object where we will have two fields, title, that will be initially empty, and description, that will be also initially empty. So now we can write the function handle change that will take an event, and first we want to destructure from this event our name and value from event.target. So now that we created the state, we can also specify a value for each of the inputs. So the name is title, and let's say the value is taken from the state. So in this case, items.title, item.title, and the same is here. The value will be item.description. And now we need to set this value equal to what we type, basically. So what we do here is we do like set item, access this function, which in which we access the previously inputted the previous input values, and we can return an object with where either title or description, which in our case is a name, so it's dynamic, that's why I use the square brackets, equal to the value. Okay, and we can also, just to test, we can console log the item. And let's see. Open up our console. Test. Oh, component is changing its control input to be blah 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 blah. Code, but the value changed from defined. What's up here? Am I not tracking the value? Item.description, item.title. No, not name equals value. Okay, so here we return first the previous input and then the name equal value. Test. Okay, so we are keeping track of the changes of what we are typing in the inputs. Now let's add a button, and then we do some very basic styling. So the button is called add item, and it will have a functionality to add the item, to send the item to the server, and then to save it in the MongoDB. So we specify that on click we want to activate the function add item. Okay, and now we're going to write this function here, add item, that also takes an event. we'll first prevent the default behavior, prevent default, that will reload the window. We don't want that. Okay, so here we will construct a new item that we will send to the backend, just to avoid confusion. It is an object where the title will be item.title and the description will be item.description. Okay, and now we can import axios here and use the axios.post method to send this item to server. So let's send it to http localhost 3001/new item. Okay, and then we have a request here. Oh, sorry, we have to provide what we are sending, the data, and the data in this case is simply the new item. Okay, so I think so far is good. Now we are posting the data. We can also console log what we are posting, new item, and test it again here. Test, add item. Post not found because we need to create it now. So let's go to our server.js file and create a create route. For this we do app.get we set /new item. Okay, here we have a request, and first we reconstruct the item that we receive from the front end. So we say like new item equals an object, or we can say equals new item, referring to the model. So the syntax is like this: const new item equals new item, that is referring to this model, and it is an object where we have a title that in this case is coming from request.body, so rec.body.title, and description, that is rec.body.description. Okay, and now we simply take this new item and call the .save method on it. After that we can say then we can access this new item and we can simply log it, so we have we are always informed of what is happening. And we can also change the catch method to catch the error. So let's set the status of 4000 in JSON format and say error, error. Okay. Let's test it. Test, add item, post not found. Maybe we need to relaunch our yarn. Sometimes it happens when you provide a new proxy. I need some time to think about it. Guys, of course, here is supposed to be app.post method, okay? Because when you are creating the information to be saved to the to be saved in the database, for sure it's a post method. The same we use here in our React axios.post, not axios.get, right? So now if we reload our React application and we say test and add item, okay, we still have an error, but it's so strange. Okay, so we keep having errors, so in order to avoid those, let's configure our server a bit. And we say app.use, maybe this will solve the problem. Course, then app.use express.json, and then we have app.use and then express.url encoded, where we say extended, where we set extended to false. Okay, let's save and let's test again. So test, if it's working, we move to a bit of styling. Add item. Okay, Now it says that item is added. So now let's go to our DB and just refresh it and see what we have. Okay, test working. Now let's just do a couple more things in our app.js. In terms of, I would like to send an alert that item added, and I would like to set our state back to null. So we say set item, where we have title blank and description blank. Okay, so now we can move to our app.read route. We have already configured it here, and as you see, we are sending these items as a JSON response. So now, using the fetch and use effect method, we can receive it here and display them in our interface. So let's import use effect and create a new state that we will call items and set items. That will be a list of objects with a title that will be initially null and a description initially null. It's okay. I'm doing a tutorial. Excuse me for this. Anyway, what are we doing here? We created a new state, and now we can receive the items and put them into this variable. Let's create a function, I don't know, here. Well, let's create it right under state. So first we use the use effect hook that takes an anonymous function. And here we will fetch the data from http localhost 3001 / we set items, right? Let's check. /items, yes. /items, and after we fetch, we want to take this response, and if, just to check if the response is okay, we want to return a response in JSON format. Then we chain another then method to take this JSON response and set our items, plural, to this JSON response. We can also chain the catch method. Sorry, English is not my first language. We chain the catch methods where we have an error. We catch the error and let's just console log it. And finally here we should add that the use effect, all these functions should be rendered only when we have changes in the items variable. This is to avoid continuous rendering of the function. And now we can, if it's working, it means that our items are now filled with the data from MongoDB, and we can look through them because it's a list. Let's go to our ES6 and I don't know, let's just map here. We take items list and we map through the list, and for each item what we do, we return, let's say, h1 with item.title and h1 with item.description. Yeah, we have to wrap that inside the parent div. Okay, and in this, in the parent div, in the parent element, we also have to provide the key that we can specify is item.id. This is coming from MongoDB and it's unique. And in my opinion, it's better to use than the index of the item. So let's check. Test. You see, now we are reading this from our MongoDB. Each child in a list should have a unique key property. Check the render method of app. But I provided it. What do you want from me? Okay, let's do like item index, and then we set the key to be equal to index. Is this what you want from me? No. Okay. Let's return the MongoDB ID and provide this key to all the elements. Is this what you want? I don't think so, but let's see. What do you want from me? Okay, maybe we are not receiving item ID, so when we set our state, let's add the ID. Who knows? Oh, look at this. So this is how you do that, huh? Good to know. Now let's work on our CSS just a bit, okay? Here we are using app.css and let it stay. We probably will just use the inline style, or no. Let's go to app.css and just write all our custom styles here. What do we want to do here? First, maybe we want to wrap our input with a button to a separate div. Okay. And then this div will have a class name of main. Let's do main. So here we can access main and we do, I don't know, display flex direction, column. Then we have to do width, let's say 40%. And margin, let's say auto. And then from the top we want to say like 30%. Doesn't work because the position should be absolute. No? What the fuck. Let's do also from the left. This is my least favorite part. I don't like CSS. Now, okay. Let's not do the position absolute. What happens now? Maybe we provide the margin here. Okay, it's better. So now let's go to our, or let's do right here, because we will not have any more inputs. So we can access it here, say height, like, I don't know, 200 pixel. Oh, it's too much. Okay, better. But let's do like 50. And the button, let's do the same height. And let's do some margin. Okay, more or less okay. Why are you there? I don't understand. What's up? Okay. Here we say margin. So like this. Let's leave like this, okay? Now let's test again. Item added. Okay. So here we want to return with each item, we want to return two buttons. One will be delete and another will enable us to update the button. Okay, so let's go to our app.js, and first of all I want to remove from handle change the console login because it's annoying. And when we are mapping through the items, we want to return not just the title and the description, and let's change this to paragraph. We want also to return a button. First one will be delete, and second button will be update. Okay. Okay. And let's give this div just some background. Background, I don't know, pink. Oops. This should be in quotes. And the width 40% as well. Oh my god, and margin. Yay! So now we can figure the delete route and the update route. Let's do that, and then I go to eat because I'm super hungry. So when we click on delete button, we want to activate the delete function. And because we need to know which item to delete, so we need to know the ID of the item, this function we will write like this: delete item with the ID, and ID will be will come from here, item dot ID. Okay, and now we can write this function somewhere here. Function delete item will receive an ID, and it will use the axios dot delete route, and deletes at which address? At http localhost 3001/delete/ and then we want to add the ID. Yeah. Okay. This is basically it's done. Let's just send an alert, item deleted, and we will also log. Let's do deleted item with ID ID. Okay, so we can log it, and that's it. Now let's go to our server and configure the delete route. How do we do that? We say app.delete at which route? At /delete/ and then we do the :ID, and this is how we receive the request parameters, and we can reconstruct it here. We'll have access to request function, and let's create our ID variable that will be params.id. And now we can call our collection item find ID and delete, where the ID is equal to ID, and here we can also send another a callback function, request error. Let's make it an arrow function. This is just another way to handle errors in where? In Express. So we say if there are no errors, let's console log the I don't know, just item deleted. But else, let's log the error. And that's it. Okay, let's test it. So let's click delete, item deleted, okay, deleted item with console log, deleted from here, and for sure it is deleted also from the MongoDB. Nice! We have the last route left, which is the most, for me, is the most tricky one, because how we're going to implement it is when you click on update, you will have the same window, but here you will have the the button called update item, and here you will be able to insert new values. So let's do that. For this, I need to create a couple of more states. So let's go to app.js and create a couple of new states. So the first state is to open that form where we will be able to input the new values. And I will call it update open, or open update, I don't know, and set open update. It will be a use state that will be initially false, just a boolean. And the second state will be new item, new values, yes, and set new item. That will be using state, and initially it will be title. It will be the same title now, description now, and this will be the, let's, to avoid confusion, call it updated item and set updated item. Okay, so now when open update is false, we have an interface like this. But when the open update is true, it means we already clicked the update button. We don't want to show this list. We want just to show another window, basically the same, just with another button. So let's do that with the ternary operators. So first, when we click the update button, we want to set open update to true. So here we will have on click function that will just open update. Let me call our states in some different way. This will be is put, because essentially when you are updating, it's called the put operation, no? And set is put. And so here we'll have open update function. And this open update will also take an ID that comes from item.id. That means when we are passing arguments to a function in line, we need to make it an anonymous function. Okay, so we write it like this, open update. And now we will write this function here, function open update, that takes an ID. I don't know why we are passing ID here, but okay, because we want to put this ID into our new item value. Yes, let's put this field ID also here. Okay. So open update. First, what we want to do is set is put to true. So we will have this form that will enable us to update the values. And then we want to set new item, or we set updated item, right? Set updated item, where we have previous input, to return an object with previous input and with ID equals to ID. Okay, so now we can use the ternary operator here. Now we say if isPut is false, then we want to return this window with the inputs. Okay, but otherwise we want to return another window, which is basically the same, but it will have a different button and does different functions. The button will be update item instead. Okay, let's see how it looks like. It doesn't work. I love it. Oh, why? Because we need to close here. Okay. So we click update, and then we have this update item, and here we can write new functions. Cool, no? But I want also not to display this part, even if it doesn't bother me. Okay, let it be. First, oops, let's rename this to update item. And when we update, we need to have access to ID. And ID, as you remember, we stored earlier in our state updated item in ID. So when we write this function, we can already say new item.id. Okay, and as you remember, when we have to write inline functions with arguments, we have to make them anonymous functions. So update item is now looks like this. Now let's write this function. Function update item that takes an ID, and for this we will use axios.put method, and we will update it at the address like put / and plus item ID. And let's also alert that item updated, and we can also console log, let's say item with ID updated. Bene. See, bene. Let's go to our no, not let's go. First of all, when we are using the axios.put method, we need to provide the new values. So here we need to provide new item. Again, let's say updated item. Okay, so here the second argument, with the second argument to axios.put method, we are providing the updated item, and this comes from our state. So we need to change also this function handle change to handle update, and we have handle update here, and let's see handle update. Let's change the value. It will be new item dot title and new item dot description. Okay, now we can write this handle update function. Handle update. Here we have also to pass an ID. Oh no, we don't have to pass an ID. It's okay, we already passed the ID. So here we just handle update, and we set updated item that has access to previous input to return an object with previous input and name equal value. It will take an event. And here we can, as we did previously, destructure it to have name and value from this event.target. Okay? Okay, so now we can log the updated item and see what we have. I love errors. I like it so much. New item is not defined. Because we don't have new item, we have updated item. Where is it? 119-20. Okay, because here is not a new item. And you don't tell me anything. Now you noticed my mistake and you didn't tell me. Updated item, and here we have also updated item. Now let's test. 128. Yes, same story. I'm a bit confused. Okay, now should work. Let's see. We click on update, so we can provide new title and and new description. And when we click update item, item updated, Okay, a put route is not found. Now this is the last step. Finally, I'm so hungry. Let's go to our service.js, because from the React front end everything is working, and we configure our last route updates. So how do we do that? The same app dot put at slash put slash, and then we have request parameters, ID, just as we did with the delete route, and access the callback function. Shh! I'm making a tutorial here, and they're making a noise. So, request, and how do we do that? We access the item model, find by ID and update. Update where the ID equals to rec.params.id, and the second argument is, I will remember, something like $set. We are sending the new values, right? So they are part of request body. Let's first reconstruct them for simplicity. We say const updated item equal an object with a title request.body.updated.title, and description equals to request.body.description. And now we send, let me check. Okay, I was almost right. So we set two updated item here, and we have also access to a recres and error function. I don't know why we need recres, just a habit. Probably we don't need. And here we say we do our error handling. That if there is no error, we will console log the, I don't know, item updated, but else we will log the error. Okay, I think now we are done. Let's test it out, see that we don't have any errors in our console, and go have lunch. Or dinner, I don't know. Use layout effect is defined but never used. Interesting. Let's get rid of that. Where are you? Where are you? Why are you here? Okay. So first of all, we are reading data from the MongoDB. Then we can add the data. Yes. Then we can delete them. And finally, let's try to update them. Yes, everything is working. I'm so happy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next video. If you enjoyed, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.